Hello and thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform on Ray Power FM Radio and Africa Independent Television AIT. My name is Amechi Anapwe. Now, fresh questions have emerged over the transparency of Nigeria's public finances following a revelation by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, that government expenditure equivalent to about 2% of Nigeria's gross domestic product GDP was not reflected in recent official budgets, creating what the fund described as a gap between Nigeria's reported fiscal deficit and its actual financing requirements. The IMF said the discrepancy was largely linked to major capital projects whose spending was not fully captured in budget documents and implementation reports. The federal government has, however, strongly rejected suggestions that it operated a shadow budget or secretly spent more than 8 trillion, which is about 2% of our GDP outside legislative approval. Finance Minister and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Oyedele, insists that every kobo of public expenditure was made within the framework of the Constitution and law passed by the National Assembly. Now, according to him, government spending is authorized through appropriation acts, supplementary appropriation acts, and other statutory provisions recognized under Nigeria's public finance laws. The minister further explained that much of the expenditure being referenced relates to multi-year capital projects that extend beyond a single budget cycle. He says such projects are funded through legally approved capital rollover provisions and other financing mechanisms, meaning they remain part of government. Approved spending even when implementation continues into subsequent fiscal year. He also pointed to statutory transfers, first-line charges, debt service obligations, federal capital territory expenditure, and special interventions for national priorities such as security, infrastructure, and disaster response, all of which are established by law, publicly reported, and subject to legislative oversight and audit. The Minister of Finance concludes. We will, on our own here, offer perspectives on the issue and give you greater comprehension and understanding. On another matter, the Senate is expected to address the controversy surrounding the 1.3 billion naira allocation to the controversial Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council in the 2026 Appropriation Act at its plenary on Tuesday. This is coming as more questions emerge after explanations by government officials over the existence of the fake council and bribery allegations against Chief of Staff to President Bola Tinubu, Femi Gbajabiamila. We will update you with latest developments. Our guest today in our interview segment is Mukhtar Ibrahim, founder of Support Group Network for the All Progressives Congress APC and that of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He will offer perspectives on the state of the race for the 2027 presidency. Okay. My colleagues are here with me as usual on the program, Uju Ejeye and Mustafa Mohammed. Welcome to the program.
Welcome to our viewers and our listeners.
The IMF raising issues of transparency, issues of accountability, issues of reporting, opposition leaders latching on to it, saying 8 trillion, which is equivalent of our 2% of our GDP have grown wings. That's what they are claiming. But the government was quick to respond, saying IMF raised issues, perhaps they didn't understand Nigeria's peculiar financial situation. There are some expenditure that are outside budget. They mention, for instance,
the multi-year capital projects.
Absolutely. Multi-year capital projects that have been rolled over. They also mention the statutory transfers to, for instance, ecological fund, federal capital territory, and all that. So another topical issue in the run-up to the next general election.
It's easy to assume a lot of things in the run-up to any election, particularly with the government of the day. You won't blame Atiku Abubakar for raising the alarm. I mean, he's a contender, looking for the same office, and the opposition would look at any possible loophole, look at any possible error to try and latch onto it to seek mileage with the populace and, of course, hold the government of the day accountable. So I do not think he's done anything wrong. I think that what is our problem is the issue of non-transparency. Non-transparency, if we are very transparent with our financial dealings, if the government of the day is very transparent with its spendings, then we won't have some of these, I won't call it confusion, some of these issues, and of course, everything will be clearly on the table. At the same time, you can't really say, oh, maybe what the government has said is all of it, because like they say, there's no smoke without fire. And if you're spending so much money and you do not deem it fit to make it public, and for everybody, at least those who are interested in the financial status of the nation, to understand what is going on, then you are creating doubts. You're creating uncertainties. And those uncertainties, I think that even beyond what the federal government has put out now, I think they also need to go the extra mile to try and explain it to Nigerians, because some of the accounting terms, some Nigerians do not understand what they are saying. And even those who are educated would say, look, my friend, you really haven't done enough. This is not the explanation. I had some people discussing this morning, and what did they say? The federal government has not really told us the truth. And that's the assumption.
Based on what you said, that the opposition will want to take advantage. When Goodluck Jonathan was in office, and the then former or current then Central Bank Governor Sanusi raised allegations that billions, if not trillions, from NNPC were missing and all that. The opposition then, which is the government in power today, made a meal of it. They made a meal of it.
Of course.
Yes, and up till today, we have not, there's no proof that the so-called money went missing.
Yes, just like, I don't know, I do not even think that Atiku Abubakar has provided enough, but he has raised questions, he has raised concerns, and I think that those concerns should be attended to. And you always have it happening. Now, you said it in the time of Goodluck Jonathan. The same people in government today were the ones that raised it, so they shouldn't feel bad when people also raise these issues against them, but they must endeavor to clear the air, because the fake agency is on, and then this one is coming up again. And we really do not have clarity on the issues. The federal government should provide clarity on these issues and let Nigerians know what is real and what is not real. At least, if you want to convince Nigerians, then make efforts and convince Nigerians. I don't think they've done that now.
Anytime anyone speaks about IMF, World Bank, my ears usually pick those sounds with a pinch of salt. From the Ibrahim Babangida regime in 1985, when the loans that Muhammadu Buhari, as a military head of state, rejected that Ibrahim Babangida collected, by removing, I think, by reducing spending on public services, collecting loans which
removal of subsidies
which we don't know what they did with the money. From that time till now, we're talking about over 30 years. You can see where the IMF and World Bank policies and loans have landed Nigeria in poverty and crisis. Therefore, once you mention whatever IMF said, I know that they are not the auditors of the federal government account. Number two, they just made blanket allegations running into trillions of naira. Therefore, we have not seen, excuse me, any specifics as a result of the allegations they have mentioned. Which areas were this money siphoned to? And this money was siphoned by who? When you are talking about...
No, they didn't raise the issue. They didn't talk about stealing or siphoning. They talked about reporting and issues of transparency.
But you need to be specific. Yes. When you are carrying out financial reporting for, just like the work that the auditors do, the auditors are actually very specific every time they talk about wrongdoing in the financial sector, not following the due process and what have you. If you have not provided specifics and you are talking about trillions of naira being managed very well, they are alleging corruption. This is my worry. And of course, it's very good that the federal government was quick to respond to them. But if they have specific about how this mismanagement took place, they should bring out their papers and show everybody. I'm not done.
I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah, I'm calling. I'm not done. And then going forward, going forward, Atiku Abubakar quickly responded. You know, in this Hausa adage in the north that's saying, that somebody who wants to cry, if you carry even the dung of a goat you throw at him, he will cry. Atiku Abubakar, as an opposition leader in Nigeria who has contested several times and lost, he's still hopeful that he's going to win the presidency. Therefore, Atiku will always look for an opportunity to fire back at the sitting government. Of course, he has rights to do that. But as an elder statesman, I was also expecting him to do his needful in terms of research, evidence, and whatever before he, join what the IMF is alleging against the Nigerian government. It's not wrong for him to speak, but can Atiku just speak for the sake of speaking, or he should find the necessary evidence to support what he wants?
He's a Nigerian and a stakeholder.
He has the right to speak, but
he has the right to raise issues.
I mentioned we needed people to present to us this is exactly where the federal government has gone wrong. You can't just come and start alleging things and you want me to take it hook, line, and sinker.
Mustafa, I wanted to ask, is it in the place of the IMF to go to specifics? IMF can only deal with the immediate report that is before it, with regard to the level that it relates with nations. So it's not in their place. They have noticed something that they felt was unrecorded, and they mentioned it. And
it's not the small money they are talking about.
I know, but it's not in their place to audit.
Well, the issue is that my concern is that these are things we as a nation, the different interest groups, the different institutions of government, the different stakeholders should have noted. Because it's Nigeria's public funds. But unfortunately, we are not detailed. We don't have that tendency
public records
to hold those in government to account. That's why the International Monetary Fund will, from time to time, raise these issues. Now, what the issues they have raised, and that's why I was telling Mustafa, they are not saying monies have been stolen or siphoned or flushed away. They are raising issues of transparency, issues of reporting. Now, when you are dealing with public funds or money that does not belong to you, even in a corporate organization, there are reporting standards, international best practices, and you must follow them. Now, why auditors insist on these processes is that it removes that tendency for corruption to come in. It blocks every window for corruption, because the more you explain, the more transparent it is, the less likely for anybody to go after these funds. Now, I can say that the federal government is right, And the IMF also right, because the IMF is right in raising issues of reporting and transparency, which which have breached. And the Nigerian government is right in its response that these expenditures are legal. Yeah, illegal in the sense that, for instance, the 1% coming to FCT from the Consolidated Revenue Fund is a legal statutory deduction. We know it. The other issues they have listed, the transfers
the
to
multiple
budgets, where the government has a problem, which the minister also agreed that the president also spoke about it and charged the National Assembly to eliminate the multiple budgeting processes that we have. I don't know any country in the world that at a point operate 4 budgets. Yes, Nigeria did it. 2024 budget is still in operation in Nigeria in 2026. So it's lesson for everybody, lesson for the Nigerian government to report these issues based on international standards. It's not your money, it's our money.
Exactly. That's what I talked about, transparency. If you make it open, if you put it out there, then IMF will not jump to conclusions. Nigerians also would not jump to conclusions. And then you look at, I remember that in the course of the agitation for the Freedom of Information Act, when it was still before the National Assembly, there were suggestions about opening the budget office, opening portals, the government opening portals where Nigerians can go and get information regarding every aspect of governance in this country. I thought that was done at a particular point in time. Now, I don't know if it stopped somewhere, but I think that if it's not running now, it should, so that we don't have this kind of confusion. Anybody can go and ascertain whatever he wants to. And then let's us also be mindful of the fact that Atiku Abubakar is not a novice in governance. If you recall the Obasanjo administration, as the vice president, he was in charge of the economy, the economic activities of this country. If you remember...
Vice President Chair, National
yes.
Economic Council.
Exactly. So he is a man who also has a knowledge of what we're talking about. I don't think he would just open his mouth and shout just like that, because he's been involved at the national level and he knows what is involved, even budget-wise.
I'm talking
but
about...
we're talking about nobody's giving us specific. We shouldn't forget the fact that in the past 10, 15 years, or even 20, some of these international organizations have predicted that Nigeria will break up. They predicted several times, and we had a successful 1999 election, 2003 elections, 2007, 2009. Up till now, Nigeria has not broken. For so many citizens, if you want something good for the country, you discover something that is wrong, give us a direction, including Atiku Abubakar have not presented the specifics where the government has gone wrong. Of course,
no, he did. He raised the issue.
I'm talking about where and how. Yes, he was the chairman of National Economic Council as a vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yes, agreed. If you're going to admonish the federal government or you're going to caution the federal government, give it specifics.
Well, the more these transparency processes are followed, I said earlier, the better for everybody. For instance, if all expenditure that are contained in budget, or even if they're extra budgetary, but detailed information should arrive, like I expect, Uju made mention of it, the Nigerian government, as part of their response to the IMF concerns, lists the projects, list the expenditure and the sum attached to it. This is all about transparency. I'm reiterating. Nobody is saying you stole the money, but people are concerned that you're not disclosing. It's the issue of full disclosure. And when it comes to public funds, you must disclose fully, because the impact is not because you want to do it. It has wider implication. Foreign investors will look at the transparency in reporting and disclosing public expenditure, how you collect loans and all that, the approvals for multilateral, bilateral loan depend on your own expenditure reporting pattern. So we must align with international best practices in our financial reporting and disclosure, because issue of budgeting, he talked about it.
Yes.
To me, the Nigerian annual budgets are the single biggest fraudulent document you can find in any part of the world.
Of course, if you've covered
why am I saying it?
proceedings.
Just and it's not a one-off. It's just the pattern. scrutinize the budget. You see wonders. They say wonders shall never happen, but wonders do happen in our budget.
That one is not America, wonder is Nigeria, wonder.
The Amajiri Commission, in the 2026 budget, they have a road project to build in Ogun State.
What is the connection?
And it's not one-off. It has become the pattern.
Yes.
In Nigeria, the abnormal has become the normal. You see institutions that have nothing to do with certain expenditure, but you see interest. Push these funds into these areas. And the moment they push it in, they know they have designed that system to circumvent the scrutiny. They will oversee the projects and oversee the payment and collection.
The Nigerian budget is the only place to where you see laptops, computers, maybe 200 for a particular agency or ministry. And the next year, you're buying laptops, computers, 200. I mean, do you use those things and discard them in a year? There are some things that, and then you see cars, 300. The next year, cars that can be used for 10 years. You see a repetition of the same things, durable things that can last for years. Every year they bring them afresh.
I bet you spoke about Almajiri Commission. Those children have parents. There shouldn't be any commission. We should enact laws to jail every parent who sent his kids to the street. A lot of us, almost 90% of the Muslim elders and youth have studied the Quran in our various environments, and we went to the Western school. Why would anybody be giving birth to children, marrying multiple wives, giving birth to children and sending them to the street to go and beg in the name of Al-Majri? And then you send the girls to go and hawk granules and cola nuts, and people take advantage of them at the marketplaces. If you really want to get things right in Nigeria, you need to go beyond that budget issues.
Okay, let's quickly take you through the controversy over that fake agency. We'll hear the Nigerian Senate will hold the plenary on Tuesday, that's tomorrow. Part of the issues they will raise is how come that fake agency had a budgetary line, 1.3 billion. All the other institutions and structures of government that were compromised are doing internal auditing to estimate and understand how all this took place. But like I said at the beginning, we also demand full disclosure. The more explanations come, the more questions that do come up.
You know, Doctor, every parastatal or ministry presents its budget for defense at the National Assembly. I think our colleagues, those journalists who cover the National Assembly, should tell us under which committee is that fake institution agency, and parastatal. Yes. What did they carry out there? Excuse me, last budget defense. You understand? I think it's a challenge on the journalists that are in the National Assembly to come out with all this information. And of course, before you go to budget defense, who receives your documents before you are given a date? What about the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the office of the head of the civil service, those civil servants that were posted to that place? Maybe they also should have had an accountant posted from the office of the Accountant General, a lawyer from the Ministry of Justice. I think it goes beyond what people are discussing. The investigation to go to places and find out who are involved. And
how did the lawmakers scrutinize that entry before approving it, before approving the allocated funds? Because it's within their power to approve the allocations. So how did they scrutinize? Did they invite the man to come and defend his budget? Did he actually defend it satisfactorily? How did it happen?
The journalists will have pictures, you know.
Yes, the journalists will have, but lawmakers also should be accountable for what they have done here. Because if they did not approve, it would not be given to the man. And how did they come to conclusion to approve this amount for that agency?
Have you not heard of the insertion of projects into the budget?
Of course. Did I not cover the national?
That's why I talked about the budget being a fraudulent document.
Yes.
Because all the safeguards that were envisaged have been violated. All the processes have been short-circuited. You see an interest, just wake up one day, between the committees of appropriation. They have the right and powers to insert and remove. And that's it. And then
that's why they must explain to Nigerians.
When the executive notices discrepancies, he will raise the alarm. They will tell him, you have to sign first, then come back for amendments. The National Assembly blackmails the executive into overlooking these.
Sometimes they trade. Sometimes they trade. The executive has its interests too.
They will tell the executive, we suspect these other provisions. We know where it will end up. Because of that, let's also
you have to approve our own too. You have to sign it.
So that means
especially with the elections coming, they need money.
We actually need a system that will make political offices, elected or not, less attractive. And you see, the presidential system of government is one of the most expensive system of the government that, including in Nigeria, where monies are to be put in infrastructure and social services, these monies are spent on the cars for the National Assembly, SUVs, allowances, sitting allowances, big salaries running into millions. Then our medical doctors and teachers are receiving very minimum. We need to reject this system.
Well, we need to make our budget work and represent the interests of every Nigerian, not just a few politicians. Let's take a break now. When we come back, we'll take a look at the 2027 presidential election, role of support groups. Do stay with us.
The stories now break online. Don't miss anything from our real-time updates and exclusive content. Follow and participate in discussions on live TV studio programs to shape the narratives. Subscribe, engage, and share from AIT.live at AIT_online on X, AIT Online on Facebook, Official AIT Live on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads on YouTube. Stay connected with AIT, on air, online, online.
Get ready for a bold new chapter in political discourse. The conversations that matter most are stepping into the spotlight like never before. Political platform, the hard-hitting, no-holds-barred program you have trusted on Raypower Radio is making a powerful move to television. Tune in to Africa Independent Television, AIT, as political platform debuts on your screen, bringing deeper analysis, sharper debates, and the voices shaping our nation's future right into your screens. From policy and politics breakdowns to real-time discussions with key stakeholders, this is more than a program. It is where opinions are tested, truths are uncovered, and the people's voice is heard. Join seasoned hosts and expert guests as they tackle the issues that define our democracy. No filters, no distractions, just real talk. Political platform now on AIT, 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Stay informed, stay engaged, be part of the conversation.
This political platform on Raypower Radio and African Independent Television, AIT. Move now straight to our interview segment. Our guest for today is Mukhtar Ibrahim. He's the founder of Support Group Network for both the APC and for President Bola Tinubu. Thank you so much and welcome to the program.
Thank you once again.
So is a support group for the president or for the entire APC?
For the entire APC, particularly the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, re-election 2027, inshallah.
What do you think he has done that you think he deserves to be re-elected as a president? Because a lot of Nigerians are also crying.
First of all, my name is Honorable Mukhtar Bola Ibrahim, the founder of All Support Group Network for APC. The project was powered by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator Dr. George Akumi, to ensure that this 27 million vote we are mobilizing for the election of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must come out by 2027. Inshallah.
What do you think he has done that
he said must
come out by 2027? Inshallah.
How?
So, as Mustafa is asking, what did I see for the that the Tinubu done for the issue of the re-election of these 27 million votes. There is a lot of achievement. Let's just take, for example, the issue of fuel subsidy removal. You know, if you go by history, over 4 trillion is going annually on fuel subsidy, which benefited only some smugglers and few importers rather than ordinary Nigerians. So government argued that removing subsidy must be necessary so that to stop a fiscal drain, unify exchange rate, free up pound for infrastructure, health, education, and direct intervention. So we all know that the immediate pain was real. Everybody is suffering for that, but the goal was to end a system that is unsustainable and regressive. I think this is one of the reasons that make us to come and vote for Tinubu. This campaign for the election of 27 million votes for the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu by 2027, inshallah. And the second issue is, if you take for issue of this Nigerian education loan fund, at least the President has done a lot in the issue of NEL fund. You know, there is a lot of people that they cannot afford to go for tertiary education due to the lack of the issue of finance. But with the introduction of this NEL fund, like it is a interest-free loan for the Nigerian education, that they are in public tertiary education. And there is a lot of something that is coming on, but more especially in the northern part of Nigeria, there is a lot of allegation that people are sabotaging the program. They are comparing it based on what has happened on NISAL, that, okay, if you go through this, they will use your BVN, they will be deducting your money without your knowledge for this issue of NEL fund. That is why we even wrote a book, Economic Research Structural Reform, Tinubu's 3 years achievement. We have all discussed about this issue because we want to try and make people to understand that this issue of NEL fund is like income contingent, that you are paying when you are earning, and you cannot pay when you are not unemployed. If you are going to pay the money like 2 years after your NYSC, and unless you are employed, and the government will be deducting 10% of your monthly salary. Even if you are employed, if you are earning below a threshold, you are not going to be debited. And if you are not employed still, you are not going to be debited. And you are going to be debited when you after 2 years of your NYSC. And if you are employed.
Going beyond that, there are other political parties, there are other presidential candidates. You know, the issue of the economy, the inflation in the country. To so many Nigerians, the president has not done enough. What do you think are his financial policies that attract him?
Okay, maybe before you even answer this, instead of the loan, why not free education? Most of the people in this government benefited from free education and bursary during their own time.
You know, if you see the way they have designed the loan, it's like you cannot differentiate the loan and it's just like free education, because the issue of the loan is that if you are not earning, you are not paying. And even if you are earning below a threshold, you are not paying. So if you compare the loan and the pre-education, I think there is no difference, because they do not say that when you get the loan, you must pay. I think it is something that there is not government that has bring this kind of policy in Nigeria. I think this has given a lot of opportunity to parents, that a lot of people, even in our area, a lot of people that they cannot afford to go back to university, tertiary institution. Now they are enjoying, and their parents are praying. And even most of their parents, they are in support of even this mobilizing of 27 million votes for the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I think there is no difference between free education and this Nigerian Education Loan Fund, because it's not something that you must pay.
Easy
I
to
think
pay, sir.
because when you say something is free, people will not take it like serious. Even if they went to the university, I think they will not. If they say it's something loan, but a soft loan without any interest, there is not any burden on it, and you are paying when you are earning, and even if you are earning below a threshold, you are not paying.
The tax reform, a lot of Nigerians, a bit skeptical, the new tax reform under the current regime. What do you have to say to that?
So I think even the issue of the tax reform is like the issue of the tax reform is only works only on those that they are getting enough money. I think the tax reform is not based on, as I said, those that they are earning below a threshold. They are not affected by this issue of tax reform. It's only those that they are earning much money that they are the one that they have committed with the issue of the tax reform.
Coming back to mobilizing 27 million, what are the specifics? How do you think you can gather 27 million votes for the president? Do you already have members, or you are campaigning? What groups are there that will make that 27 million? Mind you, you are not the only political party.
Yes. I think the issue of gathering 27 million votes is very easy one. If you take, for example, I myself, I am the national chairman, Sugarcane Farmers and Producers Association of Nigeria, SUPAPA. Under my association, I have not less than 7 million genuine members in this association within the Nigeria. And also I am the National Northern State Coordinator for Tricycle Riders Association of Nigeria, which we have campaigned for the President Tinubu 2023 Tricycle Riders Association of Nigeria support for Tinubu. So we now come with a structure that, okay, I have been in Parliament and I have been in this issue of like transportation, something of that. The other time, when we say that we are voting for Tinubu under Tricycle Association, a lot of people that they are from different angles, they think that it's only people that they are riding tricycle will come and support. That is why we come mention of this issue. Okay, let us come together, gather together. Like this support group has included all the transportation unions, commodity association, the artisan, including different pressure group and this other political support group. I think we have about now, so far we have about 350 something members that they have registered under this all support group network.
That's different groups coming together.
Different
now,
groups coming together.
Did you work for and canvass for vote for President Tinubu in 2023?
Yes.
Okay, and you have 7 million members under your Sugarcane
Farmers and Producers
and perhaps also millions under the tricycle owners. But the president got just about 8 million votes.
So the issue.
So if the president got 8 million, does it mean that it's only you people if you all voted for him?
No, the thing is not to work like that. The other time, you will hear that we have about 200 and something million people in Nigeria. That is now the kind of campaign we are doing, like this voters cast registration awareness. You will now see, as we have like about 7 million people in our in this Sugarcane Farmers and Producers Association. If you may go one after the other, you may see that you will not find 1 million people with the registration card. That is what we are fighting against now.
So you're mobilizing them to get registered?
Yes, that is the
because it's on the same plan that I said, because I talked about the number of votes you are hoping to garner from the president, 27. Yes. And when I do a calculation of all the valid votes cast in 2023, it's about 24 million.
Yes.
So how are you going to perform these wonders? The president will get through you alone, not other support groups. So 27 million, much more than all the valid votes in the last election.
That is why I told you that we are working to see that each of our members must have this registered vote. That is the main registered card. That is the main things we are working on now to make sure that for you to come and be our member, if you any support group that has come and told us that, okay, we have 100,000 members, then we'll give you a membership card. okay, each of the members should go and fill that membership card attached with their voters card on it. So from there, that is where we know that, okay, we have so amount of people that have valid registered this thing.
Why are you
voters.
so confident that all your members will just support APC? That there are no members who would support Atiku, Peter Obi, and the other credible candidates, strong candidates in the race? You're sure that all of them, Nigerian sugarcane farmers, all of them would just support one man? Then it's no longer democracy.
If you take, for example, the issue of sugarcane now, we have a program with Bank of Agri that they are going to support our members with a soft loan within the nation. And we are working on that, and I think there is not any of our members that, like, she is getting that kind of distance to proceed with his farming and will not vote for the president, because we have a lot of things on concerning issue of agriculture. We have a lot of things with agri that we are going to do within the distance. And even if you take this issue of this tricycle of 18, there's a program. These people that they are coming from China with this electric machine. A lot of programs that government brought about the issue on how to help people to have an access with this KNPF. Through this administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I think through that, all of these our members, in one way or the other, they have something that they are going to benefit from the government.
So you are thinking of your members only. What about other Nigerians who also have their own interests?
No, we are after those that they come to us and they are ready to vote for the president. So we are saying that, okay, even if you take the issue of the sugarcane farmers and the issue of the tricycle, other support group that they are here to join us and vote for the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we are looking for a way out. Okay, these people, they are into industry business or factory business. We are linking them to the Bank of Industry to see how they are going to secure something that they will finance their project too. So these are the kind of mobilizing we are doing to see that from the government we have even if normal person come, okay, what have you done in your lifetime? So if you say, okay, I am into this business, we are going to try and see that how we can help you to secure something from the government that will help you living. I think these are the formalities that we are going to see that we can able to secure those 27 million votes for the election of the president.
Lastly, this election period and perhaps a season for election support groups. When I say season for them, you understand what I mean. Nigerians out there listening and watching you say, here they come again. Another group that is targeting the APC money. How do you convince them that you didn't hurriedly form this group with a view to getting what some people will call your fair share of the huge campaign fund of the APC?
Yes, you are not the only group, but other people will think you are in this campaign to make money from APC.
So we have campaigned for the president in 2023. We have not given money, and we have done a lot. We have the record, we have the
party didn't fund you?
The party didn't fund us at all. We have not received one single naira. We have used our own resources. Even for now, I have told you we have written a book, Economic Research Structural Reform, Tinubu Administration, 3 years achievement. We have spent millions and millions of naira to fund those books. We do not get single naira from government. So we are doing it because we see that the policy of the government, the policy of the government is good and it will help people in the future. So that is why we are funding the money within ourselves. We are not getting money from the government.
So what if they call you and make funds available to you? Will you accept?
Yes, it is better because it will add value to our campaign.
Okay. Okay. Are you expecting such money?
No, we are not expecting. We are just using our own.
Okay, it's okay. We have to thank you so much, Mukhtar Ibrahim. Is the founder of All Support Group Network for both our Progressive Congress APC and indeed President Bola Tinubu for the next general election. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And we quickly bring you into the mix now as we go to our feedback segment, Citizens' Perspective, where emails you write to us, we'll read some of them. The first one is from Amechi Obochi from Kubwa in Abuja, and he's talking about the 15 worshippers abducted during a night vigil at Eda Onio, Ilejemeje local government area of Ekiti State, that have finally regained their freedom after spending more than 67 days in captivity. The victims who were kidnapped on April 28, 2026 were released in the early hours of Saturday and have since been taken to the hospital for medical evaluation and treatment. This indeed is cheering news and a great relief to their families and loved ones. However, as we celebrate their release, we should not forget that many other Nigerians are still languishing in kidnappers' camps across the country. While public attention has shifted to the latest controversy surrounding Prince Adeniyi Adeyemi and the allegations of document forgery, we must continue to remember those who remain in captivity. They deserve our prayers, our concern, and our collective hope that they will too regain their freedom miraculously or otherwise. That's the conclusions of Amechi Obochi. And the next is from Dixkin Eka in Abuja, the nation's capital. And he's talking about the controversy over IMF reporting concerns. And he says the IMF damning report that's severely indicted the federal government under President Bola Tinubu. Fiscal rascality, spending money outside the budget, is expected. Since President Tinubu came to power, he has not been operating with a budget, resulting in running 3 budgets in one fiscal year. Imagine that the federal government is still running the 2024 budget, but has borrowed to cover 2024, 2025, and has even started borrowing to cover for 2026, despite the huge new height of revenue generation from oil exchange rates and taxes. The government of President Tinubu has generated revenue more than any other government, has borrowed more than any other government, but has not funded any of the 3 budgets that it prepared. Most state governments have done much better than the federal government in fiscal responsibility. President Tinubu must wake up if his government will not be reckoned with as the worst government in the history of Nigeria, as everything is wrong with everything in this administration.
Yeah, the next 2 letters are on the xenophobic attack on Nigerians by South Africa. And the first one is from Emmanuel Nkamau from Gowon Estate, Alimosho in Lagos. It says, the federal government warning South Africa over the continued attack and killings of Nigerians in their country is quite unfortunate, despite all her efforts and sacrifice to free South Africa from the apartheid regime. Let the federal government walk the talk and take decisive action against South Africa with possible retaliatory or balance of terror action as it's in international relations. Here's appealing to President Tinubu to do more and ensure the safe return of the remaining Nigerians in that ungrateful country, just as Ghana and other African countries involved have done. The lives of Nigerians in diaspora matter. Omolayo John from Orozo, Abuja says, enough of sacrificing and wasting Nigerian lives in the name of Big Brother in Africa. South Africa must know that foreign relations and diplomacy are based on permanent interest, no permanent friends or enemies. Nigeria is boosting the economy of South Africa through MTN and others, while South Africa in return is sending Nigerians into early grave. Gentility is not required here. Ashes for ashes is the answer. God bless Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much. For the mails to our email platform, our political platform at darkgroup.com, but on our YouTube page, Arepa Abuja, some conversations ongoing. Some people agreeing and disagreeing with what indeed the panelists are putting down here. For instance, Lorenzo Destiny 5590 says, I just remembered Buhari, when it was time for him to hand over in 2023, he said Nigerians will remember him when he leaves. Honestly, this morning, I've remembered President Buhari. He is far better. Some other persons may not agree and want to indeed have a different opinion. But a genuine signature says Nigerian government are swift to run with whatever productions of IMF without giving it second thought or looking inwards to see how the implication will affect her citizens. Interesting conversation out there.
Oh, definitely. Once you are a leader, whether you are alive or you have departed, definitely you will be remembered. But definitely when you look at the promises the APC made under Buhari when he was contesting from electricity to other infrastructure like roads, schools, hospitals, fighting against security for largely which he was supported. By the time he left government, I don't think those lofty goals have been achieved.
Certainly not. I mean, that's quite clear. A lot of people believe that the goodwill that brought Buhari to power, in fact, died under 6 months because of what Nigerians were subjected to. And till today, I think some people still rate him as the most failed president in this country. But again, compared to what Nigerians are going through now, some people say we think say we don't see and finish. Now we begin.
He didn't fail alone.
I don't know.
His entire cabinet was a failure.
Yes, and I think
You
that
mean all of them? You don't believe that?
I don't believe any of them
exceptions
distinguish
them.
Infrastructure, economy, finance. Look at how he met Nigeria and how he left it. Let's be very honest about it. I don't think any has distinguished himself as in
noticeably well.
Noticeably well. No, not at all.
I think I agree with Mustafa. There might be one or two that were good, but not to the point where the majority of Nigerians notice. And in this government, well, they are still in government. And like our friend just told us, let's hope that Nigerians can have even one or two good things to say at the end of it.
Which is working. We can say,
oh, of course. No, that one you can
in
say.
Abuja, all the roads, bridges. What happened to the previous minister who spent 8 years, that nomad, Mohammed Bello?
Refunding funds instead of using it to work for Nigeria.
He should be rearing cows somewhere. Yeah.
But I think you're also a nomad. Don't you own cows?
I don't own cows.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. But let's put it on record, and Wike himself said it at the beginning of this commissioning, that a good number of the projects he's commissioning were the ones, the minister you were referring to, his predecessor started. So sometimes also give honor to whom honor is due.
No, not the man that Mustafa mentioned. Maybe other
no, that's the one.
That man was refunding money. Every budget was refunding money instead of utilizing the money to work.
Did.
But Wike, please, we know you're doing so well with roads and all of that, but please look into the issue of refuse around Abuja and these motor parks. Illegal motor parks all over the place.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Driving against
so
traffic
much for
is horrible.
joining us today. We'll come back tomorrow with another edition. On behalf of the crew, my name is Amici, and we'll have a good time.